we have a huge asset on the continent. We have the highest rate of female entrepreneurship. We have more female entrepreneurs on a rate basis starting businesses in Africa than anywhere else in the world. I mean, in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Zambia, we have a higher rate of female entrepreneurship than male entrepreneurship. Yet, when you dig into it, you realize that the inequalities that a lot of entrepreneurs face, they're heavily gendered. Access to financing. I don't know if many of you saw that report that came out, startups that raise more than $1 million. You think you're looking at, the Boy Scouts. There are almost no women on that list. And it is inconceivable. It makes no sense. So let's dig into it further. You dig into it further and you realize that where is the capital actually coming from? Right? Who are the decision makers, the allocators of that capital? And when you enter that room of the decision makers, it's mostly men. Right? And then so there was one entrepreneur I met who she had started a startup on a tech app basically looking at black women's hair. Women's hair is a massive industry. It's globally, it's $100 billion industry. And anyone who knows any black woman knows that it's a massive industry. Yet, when this entrepreneur had a meeting in Silicon Valley with a partner at a firm I wouldn't name, but a firm that we all respect, this man just looked at her and said, hair. What? We are talking about something now, make money. You are saying hair. Because he could not relate to it. But I want you to think about that story and scale it up. How many conversations are aspiring female entrepreneurs having with venture capitalists and potential investors who cannot relate or understand? And so that's why it is critically important for us to have diversity across these places. And so when you have this sort of gendered inequality in those spaces among the decision makers, it trickles down to all of this. Yet the research also shows that every incremental dollar in the hand of a woman, 90 cents gets reinvested in the family's health, education, and nutrition. And those of us, growing up, we know, our mothers. Men, just 30 cents. And the difference is why BS stocks do so well. No, but seriously, it's not just a moral issue, right? But it's a clear socio-economic issue. And so the McKinsey had this report that said if we actually achieved gender equality, we could expand global GDP by $12 trillion. And so we're running around always having these conversations about infrastructure and all the different things that we need to do, and all that stuff is important and critical, but there's a low-hanging fruit. Just, gender equality, which actually doesn't require any financial investment. It simply just means that we remove the nonsensical obstacles that prevent our women from having the same access to opportunities as our men.
If you don't mind, I'm just going to add two things. The first is, from my experience, even in CardinalStone, what I just talked about our people, we've actually noticed we've had more stability and more confidence in our women managers in the organization as we've grown. As we actually look to invest in businesses, because in some of our businesses we've noticed that as well, we're actually eagerly looking for women-led businesses to invest in. But I want to share one of the challenges that women face as entrepreneurs as well. Business can be very non-formal and casual. Getting business to happen globally, but in Africa in particular, a lot of night meetings, a lot of after-work meetings. And I mean, when I moved back to Nigeria 12 years ago, I had female friends who did not feel comfortable getting apartments by themselves because people would think they were doing funny things. Although they worked, they had good jobs, they were well educated, and they were restricting themselves because of what communities will say about them. So if you think about how many night meetings we entrepreneurs have to go for, so the woman entrepreneur is going for the same night meetings, what are her family members saying to her? So it's an ecosystem issue as well, and that also affects things significantly. And so that's why a lot of the push that even the funders are doing to make sure that there are more fund managers that have women, it helps so that some of these things can change from all, and it needs to be an ecosystem effort. But